Part 53. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 521. Xiaoming has triple enhanced almost all strategic treasures. I won't talk about the others for now. Let's just talk about the enhancement effect of truck. Because it will be put into use soon. Xiaoming actually never got a regular truck. All of them were broken trucks found when picking up resources. The resources inside are all disposable, and they will never come back once you pick them up. The broken truck will also become a background board. However, Xiaoming can recycle waste and repair the truck with the enhancement ability. So there is this unique strategic treasure. The function of the truck is, it can connect the 4 mineral deposits belonging to the deceased. After the connection, the daily products of these mineral deposits will go directly into the strategic backpack of the deceased, without sending heroes to collect them. The first enhancement of the truck is actually repair. After the second enhancement, the truck can connect 2 more resource buildings, windmills, water wheels, etc. After the third enhancement, it will be reset to 0. The change that can connect resource buildings is still interesting. Damaged trucks are not uncommon. Now Xiaoming's characters who set foot on the strategic map have 2 or 3 trucks. They will be more useful in the future. For the next reward, the Lich Prophet gave Xiaoming 2 choices. 1. Get 2 teams of 40 level 3 skeleton cavalry of the undead clan. 2. Get 3 village building stones of the undead clan. At this time, most players will choose troops. 40 level 3 skeleton cavalry is a strong force in the early stage. However, village building stone has more long-term development. Building a city in a key place will play a great strategic role. The dead are not short of troops, so Xiaoming naturally chose 3 village building stones. The last reward is the best. It is still a choice between 2. Xiaoming can choose to convert his 2 undead clan cities into skeleton specialized cities. He can also choose to build a space teleportation array that connects his 2 cities. With the Death God silver coin, the dead can convert the undead troops under his command at will. It is also possible to convert zombies into skeleton soldiers. As long as the rank is the same, it will be fine. So whether or not he is specialized is not very important to Xiaoming now. However, Xiaoming's sphere of influence is now divided into 2 parts. This is the most troublesome problem. So Xiaoming also chose the teleportation array without hesitation. These 2 teleportation arrays naturally connect the 2 skeleton specialized cities, Funnel City and Pingnan City. Now the forces of the dead are finally connected. After the award was issued, the Lich Master said to the dead with great satisfaction, "Dead, I was right about you. You are a rising star of the undead clan. The rise and fall of the undead clan in the future depends on you. I have the next task here. I wonder if you are interested." Xiaoming was overjoyed. Of course he was interested. This first round of tasks has benefited him a lot, of course. The next task must be done. Good boy. Come on. May the god of death always protect you. The Lich Master expressed affirmation to the dead who dared to take responsibility. But his face was covered by a hood, probably with magic. Xiaoming couldn't tell what he really thought. Even at this time, Xiaoming suddenly noticed it. Oh my god. The rank of the Lich Prophet is at least rank 8. Because Xiaoming can't see through him at all now. This is an existence that can be on par with Zhang Shizu, an ancient master. System prompt, the second ring of the task chain: invasion of the undead, consolidation of the position. The player informed the dead that 3 cities, Pingnan City, Dingnan City, Zhenyi City, have been built as the advance positions for the invasion of the undead. However, the scale of the advance positions is not enough. Players are requested to develop the maps where the 3 cities are located to level 2 or above as soon as possible. And at least 1 city has a level 5 barracks built. After the task was issued, The profit disappeared in the blink of an eye. There was no initial investment or anything. Seeing the task description, Xiaoming was actually a little confused. Building a city is easy to say. Although the level 5 barracks are not easy to build. Xiaoming doesn't think it can be that difficult. But developing the level 0 map to level 2 or above makes Xiaoming feel a little helpless. Alas, let's think about this later, and hurry into the city now. Jenny's City. The name is really loud. Unfortunately, it is still a poor village. Due to the arrival of the Prophet, this city also has a primary small temple of the dead. The only other things are the council hall, the first level evil temple, and the second level cemetery. There are no more. Xiaoming himself is too lazy to worry about the construction problem. Just leave it to the intelligent program. They have always handled it well. Scanning the map, I saw that the wild monsters and minerals in this map are very scarce. I am too lazy to fight. Let the intelligent program handle this. Xiaoming left quietly, just as he came quietly. He waved his sleeves and left without a cloud. Only the intelligent program was left to work hard for him. He switched to the researcher. The second fleet of the Li family led by the researcher has left Quanzhou and is heading to the base camp of the Li family pirates Diaokan according to the scheduled route. Shortly after leaving the port, it also crushed a wave of pirates who came to attack. The entire battle was completely directed by the intelligent program itself. I don't know what those pirates were thinking. The difference in strength is actually quite large. Maybe they were counting on internal help. They sent a few dwarves to infiltrate Kyoichiro's army. They planned to set fire to the ship or the ammunition depot during the melee. As long as they caused internal unrest, they would have the opportunity to help the pirates board the ship by force. Then they could rob the ship, right? People die for money and birds die for food. This group of pirates was blinded by these 5 large ships. They couldn't even see the situation clearly. It has to be said that these pirates are not very smart. It is difficult to cause a decent chaos with 5 large warships and a few traders. What's more, Xiaoming saw that there was something wrong with the life energy of the dwarves early on, and reminded the senior management of the fleet to pay more attention. So after the fleet set sail, these dwarves were controlled by Xingyi Along's men, and forced to send wrong messages to their accomplices. When the group of pirates really came over, they were shocked to find that they were tricked, but it was too late. The second fleet, without Xiaoming's command. The intelligent program and fleet management easily solved the problem at a cost of almost 0. More than 10 pirate ships were sunk. 3 medium-sized pirate ships were also captured and towed forward by the fleet. Hundreds of pirates were killed and dozens of prisoners were captured. They were ready to be handed over to the Li family's main fleet after arriving at Diaokan. They will handle it properly. Because of this battle, the strategic level of the researcher has also risen by 1 level, and is now at level 1, level 4. Xiaoming feels that it doesn't seem to make much difference whether he exists or not. The intelligent program and other generals can do things well. Fake Open Forest. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 522. Just when Xiaoming wanted to leave, he suddenly sensed something within the circle. The researcher's eyes locked on a dwarf captive. At first glance, there was no difference between him and other captives. There were many scars on his body, and he was also covered in dirt. His rank was rank 2, and most captives were like this. It seemed nothing special. However, his life energy was very strange. A normal rank 2 NPC did not have such life energy. Rather than being injured, he was suppressed. This little injury actually had no effect on him. Xiaoming pointed at the man and ordered, "Take him to the captain's room, I want to interrogate him personally." Several rank 2 puppets immediately rushed up, dragged the pirate captive out, and pressed him to the captain's room. Xiaoming thought about it, and transferred the strategic treasure of the deceased Yata mirror to the researcher. The first two source energy enhancements of this treasure increased the probability of surrender of specific types of NPCs. Specific NPCs naturally refer to NPCs from the Foot Basin country. This dwarf captive is a specific NPC, and the 8-foot mirror should be able to play a role. God's messenger. You are my master. I actually attacked the master's fleet, and I deserve death. Please allow me to commit seppuku. After seeing the researcher, this dwarf NPC captive suddenly became inexplicably excited. He fell at the feet of the researcher. If his hands were not tied behind his back, he would have held Xiaoming's feet and licked them, or drawn his sword to commit seppuku. Oh my god, Xiaoming felt a chill. The power of this enhanced 8-foot mirror is too great. It actually made such a scene. The next thing is much simpler. The real name of this captive is Koichiro Kyojima. He is a marginal figure in the Kyojima family. He was originally a level 2 blank pirate hero with a level 4 adventure level, and his individual combat power is higher than that of a level 4 soldier. This pirate who came to attack is actually a small branch of the Kyojima family. It's just because it is too close to the Ming dynasty. So there is no flag. Koichiro is the commander-in-chief of this pirate. In order to save his life and not reveal his identity when he was defeated, he took the secret medicine of his family. His general occupation was concealed, and his adventure level was suppressed to level 2. He intended to pretend to be a level 2 pirate to get away with it. In the battle between pirates, prisoners were rarely captured. Of course, they were rarely killed. They were usually thrown into the sea to fend for themselves. Unexpectedly, the second fleet of the Li family pirates actually captured prisoners, which was far beyond Xiao Yulang's expectations. The researcher saw the clues and took them out of the pile of prisoners for interrogation. He was even more horrified. If he hadn't been noticed, it would be easy to deal with. Once he was discovered, he would definitely not be able to withstand strict interrogation. Xiao Yulang, who was stared at by several generals in the captain's room, was uneasy and ping-pong drums. He desperately weaved lies in his mind. Who knew that when the fleet admiral researcher walked in, he actually brought a sacred glow? That was naturally the effect of the 8-foot mirror. Kyojima Koichiro couldn't help but kneel down at the feet of the researcher, crying and begging for shelter. Xiaoming finally enjoyed this kind of treatment, his body shook, and he exuded a kingly aura, and the NPC bowed down. Even if the level 2 hero is a blank slate, it is worth taking in. So there is another navigator in the second fleet. Heroes can serve as navigators. He was arranged by Xiaoming as a deck officer, responsible for leading the sailors to clean the ship, mainly the deck. The deck of a naval warship needs to be cleaned every day. It is just right for Koichiro to be responsible for this hard work. This is also because Koichiro is just a blank slate hero, and he has no qualifications to take big, so he has no resistance to the power of the 8-foot mirror. After he joined, all the other dwarf captives joined the researcher. Among them is a level 2 blank slate pirate general named Kyojima Kojiro, who is Koichiro's younger brother and deputy. He also took secret medicine to hide his strength. Now he is naturally under Xiaoming's command. Like his brother, he became a key member of the deck. The reason why he hid it from Xiaoming was that he was really seriously injured. Xiaoming could not see the flaw. After he was subdued, he naturally used healing magic on him. The initial favorability of the two brothers reached 50. This made the researcher feel more at ease. As for the other dwarf pirates, they were all assigned to Xingyi Longzi Yuabang to lead. His troops increased to 75 first-level dwarves and 63 second-level dwarves. Those who survived and were captured were naturally mostly second-level. Xingyi Long had the ability to train the new dwarves into his own special army hammer dwarves. Now he has something to do. This sneak attack on the second fleet has nothing to do with the headquarters of the pirates of the island. It was Xiaolang's spontaneous action. If it was the headquarters that took action, the scale would not be so small. The plan would not be so hasty. It would not fail so easily. Facing the holder of the 8-foot mirror, the two brothers of the island decisively abandoned their original family and turned to the researchers. Koichiro reported to the researcher with regret. "It's a pity that my third brother was killed by General Koichiro while he was an undercover agent. Otherwise, he could have enjoyed the glory of his master. But it was his blessing to be killed by his master's right-hand man. I believe he would be smiling in his grave if he knew about it after his death. Kusaburo Kurushima is not an important person, and it is basically impossible for the Kurushima family to resurrect him." Xiao Ming could feel that when Xiao Yulang said this, he was extremely sincere. Xiao Erlang, his younger brother, nodded in agreement. He was convinced. Xiao Ming was drunk to be so obedient. "Is that so, Xin Yulang? Is Xiao Saburo's body still there?" Xiao Ming turned to ask his own charge captain. "Yes, I know that the admiral is useful. The body is stored in the cabin below. Take me to see." "Yes." Sure enough, 5 dwarf bodies were displayed there, all of them were killed by a cutthroat. Xiao Ming brewed for a while and used his 3 heads and 6 arms. One of them was the deceased. Then Xiao Ming used the source energy to launch the death harvest on Xiao Saburo's body. As expected, the heavens granted the wishes of the people. Xiao Saburo was resurrected as a level 3 ghost soldier. Normal harvesting is more likely to turn into a skeleton soldier. However, the skeleton soldier has no face, which is a bit worse. So Xiao Ming chose to resurrect it as a ghost. Unfortunately, he didn't become a general, but only a 3rd-level soldier. After he gets familiar with the identity of the undead for a while, he can be transferred to a general or hero with the death coin. The 3 brothers are together, and it doesn't matter if the 3rd brother becomes an undead. The favorability of the 3 brothers has increased by 20 points. Xiao Ming threw the other corpses into Guangmingding for the dead to use. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 523. The 3 brothers of the Kyojima family are not valued in the family. If they were not of the blood of the family, they would not even be able to join this small fleet. However, the Kyojima pirates are big and powerful. The former Xiaolang actually got the position of a squadron admiral. Otherwise, he could not lead so many ships to fight. When he surrendered to the researcher, he naturally lost this admiral status. Now he is just a blank hero and navigator. In fact, under the Kyojima pirates, squadrons like Xiaolang belong to the characters that the system will refresh regularly. Xiaolang was wiped out, and a similar fleet will appear in a month or 2. So the 3 of them are not important figures, and they know almost nothing about the confidential information inside the Kyojima family. They only know superficial things. Even so, they must know more details than the Li family pirates. At least they know the general distribution of the power of the Kyojima family and the location of most supply bases. So a lot of useful information can be dug out from them. However, Xiao Ming is not very good at these things, and the relevant inquiries are handed over to Lin Shen, Julian, and others. I went to the diver to hide away. The diver has absorbed the Naga blood given to him by the ancient octopus boss. Successfully evolved into a 4-armed Naga. This caused quite a stir in Greystone Town. Not all Nagas of the 2nd level of the Naga clan can evolve into 4-armed ones. The task in between is not easy to do. Many Nagas evolved into 4-armed ones at the 3rd level. There are even very few Nagas who have never evolved into a 4-armed form in their entire lives. The diver was able to evolve into a 4-armed Naga when he was just at the 2nd level 0. This certainly caused a sensation. The news spread quickly from the children in the temple. Now almost everyone in Greystone Town knows about it. The diver immediately became the other people's child in the mouths of other Sea Clan parents. He was promoted to the second level at a young age, and evolved into a four-armed Naga at a rapid speed. No wonder he was chosen by the gods as the host of the temple. Almost overnight, the diver became a celebrity in Greystone Town. When swimming in the water, other sea creatures often approached and greeted him. Xiaoming also had a chance to shine. Some powerful people in the town even sent people to the temple to build a relationship with the diver. There were a few things that even the intelligent program could not handle, and they had to be activated when Xiaoming went online. Since the grocery store in the diver's temple opened, many products of other races were displayed. There were also good things made by the diver using the primary land-sea forging technique, which gradually became popular in Greystone Town. Several seafloor chambers of commerce sent people to discuss the business of consignment with the diver. To be honest, if the diver had not become the manager of the temple and quickly evolved into a four-armed Naga, these people's faces might be completely different. A small Naga could be bullied at will. Now it can't be done. The sea people are also a race that values strength above all else. The degree of worship of strength is probably between humans and orcs. These deals have basically been negotiated. Xiaoming is actually looking forward to shipping. Even if it is sold to these chambers of commerce at wholesale prices, it can still make a lot of money. Later, the mayor's steward, an old turtle, also came to visit. He did not do anything to bully others, nor did he put forward any difficult conditions. Instead, he encouraged the diver very kindly. He also took the initiative to spend money to buy a few sundries before slowly leaving. There was nothing serious from beginning to end. This made Xiaoming very puzzled. So he used the circle to track the old turtle who left. Unfortunately, after the old turtle went back, he didn't say much to the mayor. He only said some clichés about the young and the pillars of the sea. This made Xiaoming wonder if his circle was exposed. But it was unlikely. Brother, I want to see your knife skills. The kind with more arms. The octopus boy Bobby Bart ran over and interrupted Xiaoming's thoughts. There were many friends who came with him. I guess little Bobby went to brag to others. Okay. I'll show you right away. Xiaoming naturally wouldn't refuse the children's request. He took them to the courtyard of the temple and started the performance. When there are many people, try not to use 3 heads and 6 arms, just use Iron Blood Neza. Now Iron Blood Neza is already full of armor. He can transform both the knife and the arms, and there is still a lot of spare. Unfortunately, with the physique of the second level diver, it is still beyond his ability to use the 8-arm sword technique. The children still saw the 6-arm sword technique of the Naga clan. Now Xiaoming's 6-arm sword technique has become more and more proficient, and he has played a lot of flashy tricks to make them happy. When the dance was wonderful, a loud shout came from above, "Good!" Xiaoming hurriedly put away his knife and watched. But he saw a 6-armed Naga, leading 2 4-armed Nagas, cheering in the water above his head. He then remembered that the biggest difference between the sea race and the ground race is that when others come to your house, they don't need to climb over the wall. He just needs to swim to the top of your yard without a ceiling and land directly. Although the diver was practicing swordsmanship in the temple yard, he couldn't stop other sea creatures from swimming over his yard. But usually, they have something to do and don't have time to look down. This time, the 3 Nagas clearly came here specially. As for not going through the door, but swimming directly from the water above to someone else's yard, is it impolite? Of course not. Generally speaking, the sea people don't care about this. Everyone is very casual. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Xiaoming's habits are too deep-rooted. When swimming, he will try not to go over the wall of other people's houses, and he will knock on the door when visiting others. although most of the houses of the sea people don't have doors. The families who are particular will pile up a stone to block the road. The families who are not particular will just have a big hole at the door. They don't stop outsiders at all. Xiao Ming's repeated actions such as knocking on the door made other sea people think he was strange. Later, he gradually had some concepts in this regard. This time, he saw a Naga swimming down from a high place, so he didn't feel offended. In fact, there is another more important reason. Xiao Ming's current way of judging outsiders is mainly through observing life energy. Basically, whether the other party is kind or malicious is clear at a glance. Knowing that others have no ill will towards him, even if others speak badly and swear, Xiao Ming will not feel offended. If someone has bad intentions, Xiao Ming will be alert even if he speaks sweet words. Therefore, some usual etiquette becomes less important. Knowing people's appearance and heart is a huge advantage for Xiao Ming. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 524. Hello, dear tribesmen. I didn't expect to meet a genius from my tribe in such a small place. It's true that heroes don't ask where they come from. The six-armed Naga in the lead hugged the diver affectionately with 6 arms to greet him. Nice to meet you, my tribesman. Xiao Ming also hugged him back and greeted him. He suddenly had an idea, and he used Iron Blood Neza to transform into more than a dozen arms and patted the other party. It made several Nagas laugh and cry. This kid is he happy to be naughty? Because in the Naga tribe, the number of arms is the most obvious and main feature. So their usual etiquette is mostly performed with arms. This is a special courtesy to treat tribesmen. At the same time, it also means to show strength. The status of the Naga tribe in the Sea tribe is quite transcendent. After all, it is the main high-level military force in the Sea tribe. The status of this tribe is much more stable than that of the ascetics among humans. Not only does it have its own sphere of influence, but also a city where Naga specializes. This level 5 junior 6-armed Naga, Gerald, comes from one of the closest Naga main cities. Ordinary Nagas with no talent can join any legion of the Sea clan at will. However, for outstanding talents in the clan, the Naga leaders prefer to keep them in the hands of their own clan. They are directly controlled by the clan leaders. The diver has actually attracted the attention of the Naga clan for a long time. When he used the 6-armed swordsmanship with the help of Iron Blood Neza, this matter had already touched the Naga information network. At that time, a tribe member was sent to check it out, and the tribe member also regarded it as a public travel and ran here with great interest. It turned out that it was not a real 6-armed Naga, but with the help of external equipment. Its swordsmanship was just barely acceptable. So they decided to observe it again. This delay has been delayed until now. It also caused a small trouble. If it was another Naga, it could be taken directly to the Naga main city or other cities for more advanced training. Who knew that this diver was actually selected by the Temple of Light to become a manager? In this way, he cannot be taken away. Of course, the talented young man of the tribe, who was chosen by the gods, can take charge of a temple. This is also a good thing. The Naga tribe can use this to expand its power. Therefore, Gerald, on behalf of the Naga high-level officials and the divers, reached a cooperation intention after friendly consultations. The Naga high-level officials disdain to do things that occupy the magpie's nest. The main reason is that they don't want to anger the gods. Gerald said that the Naga tribe is willing to fully assist the divers and develop the Temple of Light. A large number of tribesmen will be sent to join the divers' forces. It is not intended to directly undermine the divers, but it is just mutual benefit. If the divers are really too incompetent, they can't blame others if they are really undermined. As long as he has some skills, he can quickly expand his power with the help of the Naga. And this is in the game. The power of the divers is endorsed by the system. It is not easy to be usurped. At the same time, the Naga high-level officials will also send masters to guide the divers' practice. That is, send mentors to teach the skills and magic exclusive to the Naga tribe. This also requires the diver's rank and level to reach. As a primary small temple, the diver can only establish a temple guard for the time being. This army will be completely in the hands of the diver. After the Naga clan helps the diver upgrade the temple, the second guard will be established and managed by the Naga clan. In name, they also accept the diver's deployment. It's just that they listen to orders and not announcements. In the future, both sides will expand their armies at a 1:1 ratio. Moreover, the diver will first establish a guard army, and the Naga will establish the next one. In this way, the Naga clan can obtain more military establishments. Cultivate more tribesmen. Especially for emerging forces such as divers. In the initial stage, the establishment that can be obtained is the most. What's more, the diver himself is a Naga, and as long as there is no problem, he is a staunch ally. Helping the diver to expand the army is equivalent to just putting the army under his command. Although it is said to be an ally, the diver's power is actually equivalent to being affiliated with the Naga clan. This point is tacitly understood by both parties, and there are no complaints. Xiaoming is not very familiar with this method, but he understands it almost. If it were in reality, Xiaoming would be very cautious. But in the game, it doesn't matter. It's a good opportunity to learn. After signing the agreement, Gerald immediately returned to the main city to report, and the two four-armed Nagas who followed him were left behind to obey the diver's orders. They are a Naga couple, Tom and Jerry. Xiaoming doesn't know the cartoon of Tom and Jerry, and he didn't react to these two names. The husband Tom is a third-level junior Naga swordsman, and the wife Jerry is a third-level intermediate Naga magician. The couple temporarily serve as the guards of the temple. In the Naga clan, women are generally stronger than men. So couples like them are a very standard configuration in the clan. It is certainly powerful to wield swords with multiple arms, using magic is no less powerful. Maybe the Naga magician will be even stronger. The attributes of the diver character are obviously inclined to close combat. However, Xiaoming can use source energy to replenish mana. So they are not vague when playing magic. Xiaoming was very happy to see that the Naga tribe not only has swordsmen but also mages. Finally, he has the opportunity to learn the magic exclusive to the Naga. The couple is also very perceptive. Not long after settling in the Temple of Light, they became friends with the children. Tom often takes Bobby to play around, while Emily always whispers to Jerry. Xiaoming hasn't learned magic yet, but Emily has learned several water magics from Jerry. Although they are all ordinary magics, they are all used by this girl on the diver. So in Greystone Town, you can often see the diver being chased around by the vortex released by Emily, and a group of children laughing. Before Gerald left, the diver actually received a task from him to become a hero. The diver's life profession is a sea blacksmith, and it is no secret that he can use the sea and land combined forging technique. The task issued by Gerald is very simple, to forge 300 swords for the Naga clan. The more high-quality weapons there are, the better the quality of the hero who will be employed after completing the task. Of course, with the limit of this task, the highest can only be a blue boss level hero. Xiaoming has a wide range of knowledge, and immediately used Iron Blood Neza to change many styles of swords for Gerald to choose from. This really stunned Gerald. After a thorough review, his final choice was similar to Xiaoming's taste. He wanted 150 swords of the Elven style, and another 150 of the Claude 6 style. The development of this new style will be calculated into the mission reward. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 525. It seems a bit ridiculous and not rigorous to use weapon forging as the task of the inaugural hero. In fact, Only characters like divers who have special forging techniques and have forged a large number of special weapons have the opportunity to obtain this task. For ordinary players, this is not a good thing. Because the number of weapons required to be forged is too large, and the quality is also required. Players cannot rely on others and must forge them themselves. The difficulty can be imagined. Each forging consumes energy and even mana. Other players only need at least a week to forge 300 weapons. If you want to get a high-quality hero, it is best to have a sufficient number of fine products among these 300 weapons. However, for players at level 2, the probability of forging fine products is less than 3%. To get 300 fine products, you have to forge 10,000 weapons. Not to mention the problem of time, even in terms of financial resources, ordinary players cannot afford it. Even if the guild specially cultivates life players, they will not waste so many resources for him. Because life players do not need to go to the battlefield, it is useless to get a good hero. The cost performance is too low. So this task is actually very tricky. In addition, Xiaoming also dug a big pit for himself. That is the style of the weapon. In the game, weapons forged by forging must be of the style specified by the system. It is not surprising to have a little difference, but the general appearance is fixed. Unless the player becomes a senior forger, designs a new style and is recognized by the system, only then can a new style of weapon be forged. But the diver is still far from being a senior forger. The ability to provide new styles is entirely because Xiaoming has a unique skill, alchemy. After the weapon is forged, its appearance can be changed by mental power. Of course, this change is limited. If the change is too big, the system will assume that the player has destroyed the weapon. Fortunately, Xiaoming has tried it before, and the Elf Blade and Clawed 6 styles are still within the allowed range. The proportion of this item in the task is actually larger than the sophistication of the weapon. From the way Gerald and others can't put down the new weapons, we can see one or two. In addition, the problem of time and financial resources is a piece of cake for Xiaoming. In terms of financial resources, he has been engaged in inter-ethnic trade for so long that his wealth has exceeded 20 million gold coins, most of which exist in the form of goods. He doesn't care about the little money for making weapons. And Xiaoming also has channels to sell those weapons that are not fine. The most important thing is that if Xiaoming is willing to use alchemy to make the weapons more stylish, a lot of players will be willing to pay for such flashy things. But Xiaoming is generally too lazy to do such things. In terms of time, Xiaoming can use 100 or 200 shadow clones to help. Even if it is to make 10,000 weapons, it is only a day's work. Besides, Xiaoming doesn't plan to make so many, about 1/3 of the fine ones will be enough. After the plan is made, Xiaoming will not delay. He immediately activated the ninjutsu and made more than 100 shadow clones, which took several hours to make. The needs of the task were met. However, the task can only be delivered after Gerald returns. Seeing that the time was almost up, Xiaoming ignored other characters and went directly to the Yellow Emperor Galaxy to feed the light spirits. When attracting light spirits, Zhang Xiaoliang was closely protected throughout the process. It was okay. There were just a lot of onlookers. Xiaoming is a bit troublesome here. Frequently doing this kind of thing will easily make other members of Team 33 find problems, and it is inevitable that there will be complications. So the military has other arrangements for Xiaoming. Every time he has to go to an area that other members are prohibited from entering to do this. What special areas can there be on a transport ship? In addition to the bridge, there are the weapons operating room and the power room. Reserve members are not qualified to enter such sensitive areas. There are many people on the bridge and the weapons operating room is too small, so Xiaoming generally chooses the power room. You can also visit the engine of the transport ship by the way. Chat with the master chef in charge of maintenance. The Muniu series of transport ships are very interesting. They are built in space. There is no powerful engine installed, only ordinary ion engines. They do not have enough power to escape the gravity of Pangu star. Of course, the New Han Kingdom has stronger engines, but they are scarce. After all, there is nothing missing in the reincarnation space, but there are too few reincarnations who can bring things out, and the price paid is also very high. Only destroyers like the Liahua are qualified to install engines produced in the space. For this, the New Han Kingdom paid a considerable price. After nearly 20 years of sailing, the transport ships will land directly on the planet Quafu. After that, they can only move in the atmosphere of Quafu. But they can be used as dormitories for the dispatched team members. They can also fly in the atmosphere of Quafu. It combines the functions of transportation and housing. Very affordable. The next wave of dispatch teams will naturally have newly built transport ships to use. This is the first time Xiao Ming has heard of this matter. Thinking carefully, it seems to be the case. As for the drivers of the transport ships, there are naturally special spacecraft to take them away from Quafu. After talking about the transport ships, the maintenance master naturally asked about the light spirits surrounding Xiao Ming. "Can you drink?" "Have a sip." He handed a pot of inferior wine to Xiao Ming and asked. "Child, they all told me. I still don't believe it. It's better to meet someone in person than to hear about them. What's going on with you?" Although Xiao Ming doesn't drink, a little bit of alcohol won't do him any harm. So he took the wine pot handed to him and took a sip. He replied, "I want to know too. These things have identified us. It's so annoying. I suspect I might be the reincarnation of a god or a demon." "Tisk, you're dreaming. I guess these things might be the legendary elves, who are only attracted to kind people." The master chef's guess was even more unreliable. From his life energy, Xiao Ming saw that he didn't come here to ask questions on his own initiative. The military didn't assign him any special tasks. But all his and Xiao Ming's actions and words were closely monitored. Xiao Ming had no choice but to fool him. "Just kidding, if being kind is enough, there are many kind people in the fleet, how can I be the one? I am just an ordinary person, definitely not a bad person, and a good person, well, I can't say." "Haha, forget it. I guess you are confused about this matter. Boy, how are you? Do you have a girlfriend? Is she pretty?" The master chef didn't pay much attention to Guangling's affairs, and turned to ask Xiao Ming if he had a girlfriend. Then he started to brag about how he was when he was on Pangu Star, how he was in the asteroid belt. Once he started talking, he couldn't stop. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 526. That night, Xiao Ming spent half of his time practicing in Guangmingding, and the other half in a daze in the yard. The next morning, several of them went to the town for breakfast. There probably wasn't any soy milk, fried dough sticks, pancakes, or fruit here, so I didn't know what would be there. I was a little bit looking forward to it. On the way, they passed by the alien barbecue restaurant where Xiao Ming and Zhao Zhu had eaten everything together. The owner of the Tyrannosaurus Rex certainly still remembered Xiao Ming. The big gold brick last time was much higher than the actual price. At that time, he was so busy laughing that he forgot to give the change. When he saw Xiao Ming today, he was very enthusiastic and invited them into the store to eat and drink as they pleased. Everything was free. Zhang Wen and Xiao Jing'er were so happy. They were practicing at a time when they needed energy. Besides, Xiao Xiao'er was also a big eater. Since they didn't need money, they ate as much as they wanted. Even if they did, they wouldn't save money for Xiao Ming. Even Mao Mao, whose only human head was, ate some. I don't know where he went after eating all the food. I thought that eating so much would scare others. However, the appetite of the three of them combined was not as good as that of Zhao Zhizhu. Dragons have different appetites. Although Xiao Xiao is also a dragon, he is too young and his appetite has not yet increased. The Tyrannosaurus boss only watched for a short while and felt relieved. After eating and drinking, everyone walked slowly on the street, burping and digesting the food. Halfway through, we met three reincarnations who looked like crayfish spirits. I don't know which planet they are from. They are very talkative and chatted with Ming Jing team in a few words. Everyone walked together naturally. There seems to be a tacit understanding between reincarnations. They will not ask about other people's races, civilization locations, combat effectiveness, etc. in the real world. Probably to avoid conflicts between civilizations or races. What they talk about is generally what they see and hear in the reincarnation space. At this time, the difference is revealed. Humans usually treasure the information they have and are reluctant to reveal it to other reincarnationists. But not all reincarnationists are like this. Many races do not have this kind of habit of cherishing their own things. They do not mind revealing some valuable information. Humans are like this mainly because they are born in a commercial society, and everything is linked to money. They have subtly put prices on various things and want to sell everything at a high price. We mentioned before that many civilizations and races failed to develop strong technological civilizations after contacting the reincarnation space. Business is naturally not so developed. Many civilizations are even in the tribal era. These reincarnationists are a bit like the orcs in the game, very simple. Ming Jing team feels very comfortable dealing with them. Friends, if you enter the world of District 9, pay attention to a black liquid. If you get it on your body, you will become the same as us. An alien reincarnation said with his hands and feet dancing. There was a sense of showing off in his tone. Really? Oh, so you weren't originally like this? Is there any way to change back? Zhang Wen suddenly realized. Then he became worried about his new friend. That's right, another alien nodded repeatedly. We weren't originally like this. But we don't plan to change back. Seeing that the Ming Jing team was stunned when they heard this. Finally, the alien reincarnation explained. You can use a lot of advanced weapons in this state, and these weapons are very cheap. We don't plan to change back to the original state for the time being. After that, he really took out a few alien weapons and showed them to Xiao Ming and others. Among them was an exoskeleton mecha. For low-level reincarnations like them, these energy weapons are really useful. And because of the extremely special conditions of use, the price of this type of weapon is very cheap. The race that doesn't care much about their own appearance doesn't mind being transformed. This can also greatly improve their combat effectiveness in the reincarnation space. From the looks of it, they also want to sell bloodlines to Xiao Ming and others. Isn't it better to share happiness with others than to enjoy it alone? However, the Ming Jing team didn't think much of these weapons. Their technological level was only slightly higher than that of Pangustar. It was even worse than the hacker energy weapons. As for the mecha, it was even more crude. What Xiao Ming didn't know was that in the world of District 9, the aliens who used these weapons were in a very miserable situation. So the advanced things could no longer be activated. The low-level individual weapons that could be used were indeed limited in power. No wonder they didn't attract attention. Moreover, everyone in the Ming Jing team had room and a way to rise, so there was no need to change their race. Sister Lu Xiaojing didn't like the image of the lobster spirit even more. Although she would not discriminate against aliens who looked like this. But it was absolutely unacceptable to take the initiative to transform herself into this image. Seeing that the Ming Jing team was not interested, they didn't say much and continued to chat with everyone. These aliens have been in Qinglong town for a longer time, and many places know about them. So naturally they took on the responsibility of guides. According to them, there was a ring fighting activity in the town next door. It was a fight between the reincarnations of the fighting faction. Fighting in the ring would not be arrested by the town. There are a few prizes in the competition, which are coupons for various stores in the town. They are not worth much. Everyone is just playing for fun. The ring is also a special prop provided by the Qinglong branch, so there is no need to worry about breaking things. Hearing that there is such a lively event, Brother Wen was the first to get restless and shouted that he wanted to go and see it. His strength is growing steadily, but he still lacks practical experience. This kind of ring is really suitable for him. Xiao Jing'er's situation is similar to his. Especially since she recently learned stretchable love, she is now eager to try it. Xiao Xiao'er and Mao Mao Er, one on the left and one on the right, rode on Xiao Ming's shoulders. They heard that there was a fight and wanted to go and see it. Xiao Ming, whose ears were grabbed, had to agree helplessly. More than half an hour later, everyone walked to the ring and watched intently. In fact, the so-called ring is just a cubic barrier. There seems to be a lot of space inside the barrier. However, what was shown to the onlookers was just a close-up of the two fighting reincarnations. It turned out to be a follow-up report. There were not many people watching at this time, about 30 or 50 people. Some were just watching the excitement, and some were holding snacks in their hands, throwing them into their mouths from time to time. Occasionally, if you are not careful, you open your mouth but don't catch them, and the snacks will fall to the ground. They are taken away by small creatures such as hamsters. Some of them looked so excited that their blood was boiling. Their bodies swayed involuntarily along with the people in the barrier. It was as if they were the ones fighting. Some higher-level reincarnations were commenting on the battle and had become the core of some small groups. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 527. The battle in the ring barrier can only be said to be mediocre. The two fighting are both melee-type reincarnations. One of them is wearing a silver helmet and silver armor, holding a bright silver spear, and using the ancient Chinese spear technique. Another cloud powder. The other is an alien, wearing an Iron Warrior's armor and using the Iron-Blooded clan's spear. His appearance is as ferocious as the Iron-Blooded clan. But his strength is inferior, his armor and weapons are just a set of knockoffs. Xiao Ming can tell with the round sweep that the attributes are not much better. The cosplay of Zhao Yun is actually the same, his weapons and armor are nothing special except for the appearance. This is also the general situation of low-level reincarnations. Take Ten Guangguan's old classmates for example, they are worse than them. Although the hardware is not good, the software is really good. These two reincarnations have extremely rich combat experience, and they are very skilled in body and spear techniques. It also looks quite impressive. The battle ended after more than 10 minutes. The Iron Blood clan's spears were not very suitable for swinging, which limited the performance of the alien reincarnation. The opponent saw the opportunity, picked up the spear, pointed at the throat and lost. Then I watched more than a dozen games, and Brother Wen and Xiao Jing'er also went down to try their skills. Brother Wen won 3 games in a row by relying on the deceptiveness of the subdued mind beast and the bonus to combat power. I don't know which 3 small stores got a 10% discount card. In the 4th game, he had to lose because his mind power was exhausted. Xiao Jing'er was not very skilled in using the mind power chewing gum, and only won 1 game. Then he was defeated by a big alien giant. By the way, even Zhang Wen couldn't deal with this guy. The aliens who came with Xiao Ming and his friends mainly relied on hot weapons in their combat mode, which was not suitable for such a ring battle. So they didn't play. Seeing the performance of Zhang Wen and Xiao Jing'er, they all praised them. He also looked at Xiaoming, Xiao Hong, Xiao Jia, Zhang Hong, and others with eager eyes. He probably wanted to see how strong these people were. But how could these people go on stage? Going up would just bully others. After watching the excitement and saying goodbye, the Mingjing team returned to the original courtyard through Xiaoming's wormhole. After a discussion, they basically saw everything they should see. There was no point in continuing to live in the town. Just go back to Pangustar today. Today is Saturday, and there will be another reincarnation mission tomorrow at midnight. It is also good to use these 2 days to deal with the affairs of Pangustar. They are different from Xiaoming, the dead otaku. They each have other things to do. And they can't send their clones to run errands. So everyone agreed, and the group returned to Pangustar through the teleportation array. Before the teleportation, Xiao Xiao'er and the others were all put into Guangmingding. When Xiaoming and the other two appeared at Pangustar's home, Xiaoming suddenly remembered that he had just forgotten something. When Green Xiaoming returned earlier, he had a very special feeling during the teleportation. Unfortunately, time passed quickly and the Insect King did not seize the opportunity. I wanted to use every second counts to study it when Xiaoming returned. However, this time, because it was a temporary decision, Xiaoming did not think of this matter for a while. Unfortunately, he missed it again. When that feeling came again during the teleportation, it was too late to use the skill. It was not a big deal, but Xiaoming always felt extremely regretful. It must be something worth paying attention to. Alas, there is no way to regret it now, and I can only wait for the next opportunity. Sister Xiaojing checked the electronic information, made 2 phone calls, and then went out. Probably she had an appointment with a friend. She didn't even need to dress up before leaving. Natural beauty is tough. Brother Wen did the same thing, but he was called away by someone else. It seems to be an urgent matter. He didn't need to dress up before leaving. Natural ugliness is more confident. Xiaoming is a loser, he doesn't have the habit of checking information, and he doesn't receive many calls in a month. Occasionally, there are a few calls, but they are all from the 2 people who just went out. Naturally, he can't develop this habit. Xiaoming put the circle around and looked around twice. There was no sign of intrusion in the house. There were still cockroaches and ants that broke into the house. He deliberately showed his face in front of the people who were monitoring him from all sides to give them a performance report. Then he planned to enter the game. At this moment, a figure entered the room for some reason and grabbed Xiaoming's ear. "Smelly boy, why don't you read the information? I left you several messages." A somewhat fierce voice sounded in his ears. Have mercy, Sister Hong Chao." Xiaoming knew who it was as soon as he heard the voice. He quickly begged for mercy. Hong Chao let go of Xiaoming's ear and slowly walked to the sofa and sat down. Holding the tea that came out of nowhere, he took a sip and asked leisurely. "Boy, which branch did your team go to?" Xiaoming did not dare to neglect it and sat on the sofa on the side. Hearing the question, he quickly answered, "It's the Qinglong branch." "Really?" Hong Chao seemed a little surprised in her tone. "You can go to the Qinglong branch for the first time." Xiaoming heard this and understood that there was more to come. He quickly acted as a supporting role. "Is the Qinglong branch special? Please give me some advice, sister." "Nothing. It's rare to go directly to branches like Qinglong and Beihu for the first time. Only those who perform very well have this opportunity. But your strength is really good, so it's not surprising that you can go there." "Is that so? I also met other Pangustar reincarnations in the Qinglong branch. Their quality is very average." Xiaoming was a little confused. "I said it's the first time. Anyone who has been a reincarnation for a few years and has done well is qualified to go." Hong Chao despised Xiaoming's understanding ability. "But sister, I walked around the Qinglong branch for a long time, but didn't find anything special," Xiaoming asked puzzled. This is the truth. Xiaoming thinks that when you go to a big city, you usually go to buy things. The goods in a small city are not as complete as those in a big city. But the Qinglong branch is obviously not mainly for business. What is it that attracts reincarnations? Didn't you feel it? Hong Chao seemed very shocked. The subordinate organizations of the samsara space are all places with relatively strong supernatural energy. One day of cultivation there is equivalent to more than 1 month on Pangu Star. How could you not feel it? So this is what he was talking about. Xiaoming suddenly realized. This is a big mistake. The energy of the Qinglong branch is indeed strong, but it is on the back of the dragon, which is of course different. But it is far worse than Guangmingding. Xiaoming didn't notice it. Now he can only smile bitterly. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 528. Hong Chao came here specially after receiving the news after Xiaoming and others came back. With her speed, she handled some other official business before coming here and simply washed and dressed up. As for not going through the door, she suddenly appeared in Xiaoming's house, which was easy for an A-level reincarnationist. Hong Chao came here mainly for a few things. But in fact, the real thing to do has been done, which is the question just now. It was learned that the reincarnation space organization that Xiaoming and others went to for the first time was the Qinglong branch. Hong Chao still attaches great importance to this. Other things were just handled by the way. The first thing is about undead magic. The skeleton soldiers provided by Xiaoming are not very strong in combat power, but in terms of technology, they have the effect of learning from others. The reincarnationists of Pangu Star are still elementary school students in the study of undead magic, no, all magic. Just like in the world of a Chinese ghost story, the tree demon grandmother would pay more attention to Xiaoming's undead magic, it is worth learning from. Moreover, compared with the slow effect of Taoism, the necromancy magic is faster and more practical. In the game, others cannot use the skeleton soldiers summoned by Xiaoming, but in reality, masters have many ways to use the skeleton soldiers for their own use. Xiaoming's dozens of skeleton soldiers are actually in short supply, so this time the red tide is here to replenish the stock. This time, 100 skeleton soldiers are needed. She didn't know that Xiaoming's necromancy magic in the game has been upgraded to a high level. In reality, Xiaoming can almost reach the high level. And the restrictions in reality are not as strict as in the game. When using magic in the game, the amount of mana and materials consumed is fixed, and the result is almost fixed. However, in reality, the consumption can be more or less, and the result can be adjusted appropriately. Of course, only people like Xiaoming who have a deep understanding of necromancy can do it. With a wave of his hand, 41st level, 32nd level, and 33rd level skeleton soldiers were neatly arranged in the living room. Moreover, there are many types of soldiers, such as shield soldiers, spear soldiers, crossbow soldiers, archers, sword soldiers, in short, except for mages and knights, they are basically all there. It's just that the living room of Xiaoming's house is limited in area, and it takes 3 layers of arhats to fit it. Hong Chao had heard Zhang Shizu talk about Xiaoming's undead magic before. When he saw it today, he was still surprised. Looking at Zhang Xiaoming's, he had a rough judgment of his strength level in his heart. In Hong Chao's opinion, C-level reincarnationists are not Xiaoming's opponents at all, and it takes B-level reincarnationists to confront Xiaoming head-on. It seems that the alliance's policy towards Zhang Xiaoming still needs to be further adjusted. Of course, women are creatures who say one thing and mean another. Although they attach great importance to Xiaoming in their hearts, they only praise Xiaoming a few words. They look like a teachable child. Then Hong Chao took out a small bag and packed all the skeleton soldiers. This transaction gave Xiaoming 200 points. 200 points is already quite a lot. Even Hong Chao wants to make some plans. So in order to seduce Xiaoming, she told Xiaoming about her and Zhang Shizu's race. They are a special kind of zombies. They come from the world of My Date with a Vampire. In that world, even the Pangu clan, who created the world, are zombies. Zombies are almost the top gods in that world. The highest level of zombies are not afraid of sunlight, nor do they need to suck blood to survive. They still live very comfortably. Low-level zombies are a little miserable. Not only do they have to suck blood to survive, but they also don't like sunlight. Of course, things like cross garlic don't work on them. After becoming a zombie, the physical attributes will soar. If you are lucky, you can also get some special functions. That is, superpowers. As for things like sucking blood, modern society can easily solve them. Reincarnations who choose to become zombies can buy fresh and suitable blood from the Alliance. There is no need to harm the human world. Zhang Shizu cosplays as the true ancestor of zombies in that world, Zhang Chen, that is, Pangu. The red tide in that world is not actually a zombie, but one of the 5-color messengers under Nuwa. It is considered as a messenger of God. However, Zhang Shizu, as the real ancestor of zombies in reality, likes to stir up trouble. So he cultivated several first-generation zombies to cosplay the 5-color messengers. Hong Chao is one of them. In the original TV series setting, anyone bitten by a zombie can be infected and turned into a zombie. Genzu is a first-generation zombie, and those bitten by Genzu are second-generation zombies, and those bitten by the second generation are third-generation zombies, and so on. However, in the reincarnation space, the setting has changed and is more like a vampire setting. The upper zombie must use its own zombie blood to cultivate the lower zombie. The bite is just to transfer blood, but it is not a necessary condition. This is the second thing Hong Chao came here to do, to earn Xiaoming's newly earned points. The higher the level of zombie blood, the more valuable it is. In principle, Xiaoming's points are not enough to buy Genzu's blood, and even the second-generation zombies are not enough. However, Hong Chao is willing to sell a second-generation blood to Xiaoming at a 20% discount on 240 points, in line with the concept of cultivating newcomers. I originally wanted to sell the third-generation blood essence. I didn't expect Xiaoming's skeleton soldiers to be more valuable. It's a good deal to sell my own blood essence. This is definitely a good thing. Xiaoming bought it without hesitation. Hong Chao also told Xiaoming that although the second generation of blood essence is not as energetic as the first generation, it should not be underestimated. At least, you should be able to take it with confidence only when your physical fitness reaches the level of a D-level reincarnationist. Otherwise, not every transformation into a zombie will be successful, and you might even explode and die. The third thing is a small thing. Miss Li's 9th daughter had eaten all the spiritual fruits, so she thought of her brother, the leader. However, after Xiaoming's last space mission, he went to the Qinglong branch and couldn't find him on Pangu Star. Miss Ju, of course, didn't want to do it, so the matter was passed to Hong Chao. Hong Chao still had to give the Li family face. Moreover, Hong Chao couldn't get a substitute for the spiritual fruits that Xiaolu cultivated in Guangmingding. The Li family had no choice either. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come to Xiaoming. From a certain perspective, this little thing is more important than everything else. Spiritual fruits are so rare that Miss Nine can eat them without thinking, but the Li family can't take advantage of Xiaoming all the time. In addition to standing with the alliance and fully protecting Zhang Xiaoming, the Li family also sent 3 gifts this time, giving Xiaoming the choice of one. After all, the Li family is a royal family, and if they don't make a splash, they will make a splash. These 3 gifts are all treasures. Any one of them is enough to make Xiaoming drool. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet online game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 529. Zhang Xiaoming from Pangustar World certainly had never heard of the title of the three major civilian manga of Death, Fire, and Sea. He didn't understand this joke. However, the three treasures sent by the Li family happened to come from these three worlds. Could it be that the Li family knew this joke? Hiren Meru, original version. From the world of Death, Sherinan, 3 Megatama version. From the world of Naruto, Flower Fruit, incomplete version. From the world of One Piece. These three treasures are all treasures certified by space and are absolutely non-toxic. However, they are not complete versions. The Li family is reluctant to take out the complete versions of these three things in exchange for spiritual fruits. That would be too wasteful. Even if they are incomplete versions, these three items are carefully selected, and they are all very useful even if they are incomplete. Worried that Xiaoming doesn't understand the value of these items, Hongqiao also specially explained them to Xiaoming one by one. This worry is correct. Xiaoming only knows that they are all good things, but he really doesn't know how good they are. Hiren Meru, the strongest Zanpakuto of the ice and snow system in the world of Death Gods and Soul Society. It has a wide attack range, freezes water in the air with spiritual pressure to form an ice dragon, and can even control the weather. It also has additional ice and snow damage. Even this template without the Shikai can convert the user's spiritual pressure, spiritual power, into cold air. It is excellent in both attack and control. Sherinan, the blood limit of the Uchiha clan, one of the strongest families in Naruto. The Sherinan with only 3 Megatama has the ability of insight and hypnosis. In addition, it can see through and copy non-blood limit ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu. If it can continue to evolve, it will gain even more powerful power. The Red Tide just briefly described it, and it makes people excited. Hana no Mikoto, it is a superhuman devil fruit in the world of One Piece, which is quite powerful. The ability of the Hana no Mikoto can make any part of the body grow on any tangible object like a flower, and make attacks, defenses, or other actions. Of course, this version is incomplete again. Originally, it seemed to be able to produce limbs infinitely. This version can grow a maximum of limbs that is equal to its own weight. There is no limit to the number, as long as the ability user can control it. It can only transform into about 10 arms, but it is estimated that there are thousands of eyes. It is not easy to control. It can be seen that even if they are all incomplete versions of the gifts, the Li family has invested a lot. Hiren Meru consumes spiritual power, and Xiaoming's spiritual power in the late stage of foundation building is just too much to use up. This knife comes at the right time. Sherinan, the insect king, absorbed a pair of 3 Magatama Sherinan when he was on Mars. Now he can use the 1 Magatama Sherinan at any time. But that little bit of dynamic vision is useless to Xiaoming, so he rarely uses it. If he absorbs this 3 Magatama Sherinan, he will definitely be able to strengthen the level of the existing Sherinan. It will probably work at that time. And the last incomplete version of the flower fruit made Xiaoming salivate. For ordinary reincarnations, this fruit requires too much mental power. If a normal person has 20 or 30 arms, he will definitely be too busy. However, Xiaoming's mental power is so strong. He can do many things at the same time and practice so well. This devil fruit is almost tailor-made for him. Xiaoming was too lazy to be polite and immediately chose to accept the incomplete version of the flower fruit. At the same time, he secretly sighed that the big family is indeed rich and powerful. However, what he didn't expect was how important the fruit he gave away was to the Li family. Many masters of the Li family are almost in a bottleneck period. They are seeking a breakthrough. At this time, the spiritual fruits brought back by Miss Ju are of great help to these masters. Xiaoming completely underestimated the value of those fruits. So he rummaged through the boxes and took out a large basket of spiritual fruits and asked Hong Chao to give it to the Li family. Hong Chao was stunned. He kept complaining in his heart, "Damn horse. The power behind Zhang Xiaoming is too powerful. Even Zhang Xiaoming, a chess piece in the open, can produce so many fruits with rich spiritual energy. This is not just a matter of money. This power is beyond the reach of major countries in the human world. It is possible that several powerful forces in the reincarnation space. The most likely one is a certain force directly under Wanbakian. Otherwise, Xiaoming discovered a blessed land and cave heaven that specializes in producing fruits. But this possibility is really too small. According to our own monitoring of Xiaoming, there is no such sign. Because she thought too highly of Xiaoming's background, Hong Chao did not ask rashly. Some of her ideas are actually very close to the truth. Xiaoming did not obtain a place with rich spiritual energy, but created a blessed land and cave heaven by himself. Seeing that Xiaoming took out too many fruits, Hong Chao gave all 3 items to Xiaoming according to the conditions that the Li family had discussed with her in advance. This is an equal exchange. Both parties took things that they were not rare to exchange with each other. Probably no one suffered a loss. If we follow the value system of the reincarnation space, the items provided by Xiaoming can be slightly more valuable. After completing this exchange, Xiaoming must be eager to do it, and Hong Chao can see it. Other things will be kept simple as possible. At the beginning, Xiaoming participated in the task of haunted incident at Yanglia Reservoir. After his teammates reported the process of the task, the League of Legends doubled the points as appropriate. So Xiaoming's total points in the alliance are now 12 points. That's right, Xiaoming got 2 points for that mission. What a pitiful score. It would be better to sell a skeleton soldier to save trouble. But he didn't think about it himself. People wanted his skeleton soldiers mainly for research. They didn't really need a lot. It's just that at the beginning, there were more wolves and less meat, so the price was high. In the future, when others have researched results, no one may want them. If you want to get points, you have to do the mission in a down-to-earth manner. In addition, since Zhang Xiaoming already knew about the 3 emperors and 5 emperors plan, all parties discussed it and decided to tell him about the Yanhuang Rise plan. But they didn't mention the matter of the replica attracting light spirits. They just asked Xiaoming if he was interested in upgrading the game cabin and participating in the plan. The idea of all parties was to muddy the water, and also to see if Zhang Xiaoming himself had the characteristics of attracting light spirits. With Zhang Xiaoliang, the channel that belongs exclusively to the non-existent twins, it doesn't matter if Xiaoming possesses Xiaoming. Of course, there were some disputes during this period. In the end, it was unanimously decided to let Xiaoming make the choice. Just let fate take its course. Xiaoming certainly made a choice that most reincarnationists would make: refuse. The reason he gave was that the reincarnation space was much more fun than other galaxies, and he didn't have time to deal with these trivial things. Not to mention, this reason really fits the positioning of normal reincarnationists by all forces. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 530. There was nothing important to do next. Hong Chao put away the fruit, casually asked about Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen's situation, asked about the details of the task at the reservoir. Finally, he gave a few instructions and disappeared. As soon as Hong Chao left, Xiaoming almost used up the new treasures. Just as he was about to strengthen the Huahua fruit, he suddenly remembered something. Using these things himself, increasing his strength a little is just icing on the cake, not necessary. If he gave them to his sister or brother Wen, their strength would jump a lot, but he didn't know which one they would like, so Xiaoming decided not to touch them for the time being. Wait until they get home. Pick the remaining ones for himself, if there is none left. It doesn't matter if he doesn't use any of them. In the end, he didn't wait for them to get home, but instead waited for Jiang Wen's call. What? Catching ghosts and exorcising evil spirits, Xiaoming was very puzzled by Brother Wen's words. Oh, I can't explain it clearly. Peng Si thought he was possessed by evil spirits, or he was hit by a ghost. Anyway, he is a little crazy now. You should come and see what's going on. In modern society, Peng Si actually thought he was possessed by evil spirits. Xiaoming guessed that it was probably some reincarnation who did it. Maybe Brother Wen thought so too. So he asked Xiaoming to go over and take a look. Xiaoming left a few maids' mind beasts, a housekeeper's mind beast, and a shadow clone at home. Then he took a taxi to the studio. When he arrived at the gate, he happened to see Brother Zhu Xingxia working the night shift. Xiaoming had something important to do, so he could only exchange a few words. When he came to the office, the original members of the Magic Dragon Aotian studio were all there, talking and counseling Peng Si. When they saw Xiaoming coming in, everyone asked him to come over and take a look, only Lu Zhishan curled his lips and looked a little disapproving. In fact, he and Xiaoming had a good relationship, because only the two of them were considered employees in the studio, and the other 5 were bosses. They were naturally closer. His disdain was not directed at Xiaoming, but at the superstitious ideas of this group of middle-aged people. Did you really think it was a ghost? Xiaoming did not say much. First, he used a Bingxinju to calm Peng Si down. Taoism works very well on ordinary people. Peng Si quickly calmed down, and then told Xiaoming what happened. At first, he received an invitation from the reincarnation space in his dream. At that time, he did not take it seriously, and as an online writer, he lived a good life and had no desire for adventure. So he decisively rejected the invitation from the reincarnation space. After waking up from the dream, he did not take it seriously, let alone think it was true. What you think about during the day, you dream at night. As a writer, it is normal to dream about some strange things. He just thought it was a cold of his own. But since then, it has been getting worse and worse. Peng Si began to encounter some things like encountering ghosts, being possessed by evil spirits, ghost walls, and ghosts pressing on the bed. And it became more and more frequent. The invitation from the reincarnation space also appeared again. In this weird situation, Peng Si dared not accept it. This is obviously a trap. But every time he refused, the ghost phenomenon became more and more serious, and the next invitation would come. He is really going crazy now. Leader. I just looked carefully and didn't see anything dirty. Jiang Wen also has telekinesis and can use condensation. He naturally observed it before. That's why he said so. But he was booed by others. Cut it, fatty, stop it, don't talk, don't mislead the leader. Others are not reincarnations, of course they don't know that Brother Wen is no longer the same as before. Jiang Wen wanted to come back as a king on the spot and pretend to be a slap in the face. But considering that Peng Si's matter is more serious, he forced himself to hold back. Xiaoming nodded to the fat man. Then he used condensation and scanned the map to check nearby. Don't say it, I really saw a ghost. And the leader was still smiling at Xiaoming. It feels like an acquaintance. It was the Black Impermanence who came to Xiaoming's house with Zhang Shizhu, a civil servant in the underworld. He was still wearing the same black tang suit, glasses, and looked like an elite office worker. He made a silent gesture to Xiaoming and winked at him. There were 7 or 8 level 5 ghosts around, and the strength of these ghosts was comparable to Xiao Hong. They were all floating far above the studio, no wonder Jiang Wen didn't see them. Xiaoming was also stunned when he saw them. With his strength, if there were ghosts around, he should have discovered them long ago. Just now, He Vuchang and those ghosts should have been within the range of Xiaoming's circle, but Xiaoming didn't notice it. It wasn't until he used the scanning map that he found the clues. This made Xiaoming a little scared. It turned out that his circle was not impeccable. It was obvious that He Vuchang had used some means to evade his detection with his subordinates. On second thought, isn't this a very normal thing? If there are means of detection, there must be means of counter-detection, and he knows both. Since He Vuchang appeared here, the matter must be related to him. You guys chat first, it shouldn't be a big deal, I'll go out and check the surrounding environment, Xiaoming said to everyone. Another fat boss Zhang Yuyan immediately replied, okay, master, you can go out and check the feng shui without worry. We are here. Li Jianfan said meaningfully, if someone is playing tricks, let's talk to them in a nice way first. Xiaoming didn't think he could find He Vuchang. He probably said this because he thought someone was playing tricks on Peng Si. He found a secluded place outside, and before he could summon him, He Vuchang had already appeared in front of him. A month ago, Xiaoming had a pleasant chat with him and Zhang Shizu. There was no need to be polite at this time. He Vuchang opened his mouth and directly talked about the whole story. It was indeed him who caused Peng Si to encounter evil spirits. The reason was unexpectedly nonsense. Peng Si is an online writer with the pen name Ambush from 10 Sides, who is famous for digging holes and not filling them. Zhang Shizu and He Vuchang are both his readers. Even if they are not fans, these two definitely don't need to spend money to read books. The cause of the incident was that Zhang Shizu was not very satisfied with some of Peng Si's writing, so he opened a small account to comment. Peng Si saw that the content of the comment was very real, so he decisively deleted the comment and blocked Zhang Shizu's small account. In the business world, this behavior is also normal. After all, it delays people from making money. But this behavior is definitely not a good thing. Zhang Shizu had good intentions and spoke the truth. Peng Si's behavior made Zhang Shizu very unhappy. Even if ordinary people were unhappy, they couldn't do anything to Peng Si. What else could they do? Go over to PK through the network. Just treat it as seeing through a person's character and no longer paying attention to him. However, when the zombie ancestor was unhappy, it was a different story.